Hey guys, this is Paul Hayworth, your host of BlizzPro Weekly. And now, all the hard-hitting news from BlizzCon.
What? We get a new budget? That's all like Matrix and shit. Damn. Alright. In this week's BlizzPro Weekly, BlizzCon, BlizzCon, BlizzCon. Refer a Friend is back in WoW, Stefano comes out of retirement, and more BlizzCon. Hey guys, welcome to the newest episode of BlizzPro Weekly. As always, I am your host with the fantastic beard, Chris Arnone. We are back from BlizzCon, had so much fun. It was exhausting, it was awesome. I think Paul and I did like 7 filmings on Saturday between like group interviews, small interviews, the round table, I mean, all kinds of stuff. You absolutely want to check out right on this YouTube channel the BlizzCon 2013 playlist. So much awesome coverage. And also, of course, on BlizzPro.com, there's a little banner right up at the top that will direct you to all of the BlizzCon 2013 coverage for BlizzPro.com. Of course, little technical snafu with all the traveling. Don't have the teleprompter, so if I keep looking up a lot, sorry. So yeah, let's talk World of Warcraft.
Here's the beef.
So during BlizzCon, the big announcement, the next expansion for World of Warcraft 6.0, Warlords of Draenor. Now in this next one, Garrosh escapes his trial. Now he comes across some very old magic and travels back in time about 30 years to Draenor. Now this is before it was sundered, before it became the Outlands, before the orcs drank the demon's blood. Now he gathers up these old orc warlords, such as his father, Grommash Hellscream, and starts building a dark portal to bring this new Iron Horde, as they're calling it, to the present-day Azeroth. So Garrosh is not done yet. Now the WoW team made it pretty clear that the whole time travel aspect is a means to an ends, alright? They just want to show off Draenor and let players go in and play in Draenor, which of course is a holdover from the RTS days of Warcraft. So, you know, this you can kind of look at this like an alternate reality, sort of like the new Star Trek movies. You know, this doesn't affect that. In other words, this new little pocket timeline thing isn't really going to have these massive, massive changes on Azeroth. Or at least that's what they're telling us right now. But now, there are also no new races or classes in the expansion, but one new feature is building your own garrison, which is WoW's version of player housing. You'll be able to build your garrison, get your NPC followers, be able to help do things for you, and even show it off to your friends. Now, one of the major graphical improvements coming are new character models into the game. Now, they plan on redoing the classic characters and those from Burning Crusades. Now, during one of our interviews, a developer mentioned that the old models, those old models, have about the same number of polygon levels as a gem on one of the current pieces of armor you'll find in the game. The game's been around for like 9 years, and it's a long time. A lot of that technology has changed. And so, you know, they really want to bring things up to speed. It's a big undertaking, but they also want to make sure that you don't need some sort of high-end system to play World of Warcraft. It's a game for everybody. There's also going to be some new UI and inventory improvements coming to the game. Players will be able to max out their characters 10 levels higher, all the way up to 100, which I'm sure that also means that Blizzard's in-house band will have to change their name yet again. Flying, that's one thing people talk about a lot. I know there was an article up on BlizzPro.com today talking about this whole thing, but one big controversy is there will be no flying on the new continent, at least not right off the bat. One of the WoW developers commented about it, and community manager Bashiot confirmed it today in the forums. He said that allowing flying while leveling happened in Burning Crusade, Wrath of the Lich King, and Mist of Pandaria, and the only reason it was available during it wasn't available in those. The only reason it was available during Cataclysm was because of the way that expansion was designed with the reworking of the current world. Now, he said flying trivializes combat because it allows you to just hop on a mount and fly away. One of the reasons they don't allow flying in PvP zones, dungeons, or raids can also cause problems in the content design. For instance, zones, have to be a lot bigger because the flying mounts can move around them a lot faster. It also reduces gameplay they want to create by allowing infinite choice in how content is approached to best suit a player's intention to avoid said content. With that, they are planning on disallowing flying mounts completely until around patch 6.1, which should be the first major patch to the game. Before, they always allowed you to go flying around until you hit max level, so waiting until later in the expansion cycle is a different approach. We'd like to hear your thoughts on this. Do you think it's a step too far? Are you glad Blizzard is finally sort of making this decision in regards to flying mounts? Let us know in the comments. Another point of contention that's come up recently, even since BlizzCon a little bit, is the announcement when you buy Warlords of Draenor, you can choose one of your characters and automatically upgrade them to level 90. Now, the dev's reasoning for this is for people who might be coming back to the game or even new to the game. They want them to be able to just jump right in and enjoy the brand new content. But one of the questions that's been brought up is, are they going to let people sort of purchase a way to auto-level other characters up to 90? The answer at this point is that they're looking into it. They're thinking about it. Now, don't freak out too much, because technically there is already a way to do this. You create a new account, buy the game and the expansion, get your level 9, and then pay a transfer fee to that character to your old account. Pretty expensive, you're paying, for the game, for the transfer, but still, there's a way to do it. So it would make it a little simpler, allow them to just do it, be more streamlined, and maybe a little cheaper for the player. Now, one of the panels at BlizzCon was also the Warcraft movie panel. It had director Duncan Jones, Chris Metzen, Nick Carpenter, and Rob Pardo all sitting there talking about it. Now, not a lot was revealed. I mean, the film hasn't even started filming yet, but we did find out some things. It's going to be set in the times of orcs versus humans, like the old RTS games, and will feature characters from that era, such as Thrall's father, Dorotan. They also showed some concept art of regions such as Draenor, Stormwind, and even Dalaran. Duncan Jones is wanting this to be sort of an epic fantasy feel, sort of like Lord of the Rings. It's expected to be PG-13 at least. It's going to be sort of that dirty, gritty, bloody movie because it's about war. Now, the movie will be focused on both the Alliance and Horde side, showing heroes and villains on both sides. If the movie does well, there are plans, hopes at least, to continue that story, turn that into a franchise. Now, Warcraft is scheduled to be released on December 18th, 2015, which is up against some pretty stiff competition because that's also the release date for Star Wars Episode 7. More Warcraft stuff. There's just so much going on. This week, WoW announced their new Recruit a Friend program that they've been working on. It's more streamlined as you're able to do it straight from the game itself. You log in, hit the button to recruit a friend, and enter their email. You'll get some benefits, such as being able to grant your characters levels, summon your friend, faster XP when playing with your friend, and if your friend starts their second month of WoW, you'll get an in-game reward of your choosing. Now, currently, you can choose the newly created Emerald Hippogriff mount, or even get to choose one of the past Recruit a Friend mounts, such as the Heart of Nightwing, X-53 Touring Rocket, or the Swift Zerva. You can also choose some pets that were previously only released in the Asian regions, such as the Golden Pig, Silver Pig, Jade Tiger, and Zapao Tiger. All right, wow, that was a lot of Warcraft news. How about Starcraft?
You want a piece of me, boy?
So the WCS Global Finals played out at BlizzCon. Got to see some of those matches myself. It was cool. I can't lie. But there were some upsets early on. Personally, I thought Naniwa had been playing so well recently, kind of moving up and got that 16th spot. Yeah, it didn't work out so well for him. He did get beat by Soulkeep, in the first round. But still, he managed to get there. But Deer might have been the favorite to win by most other accounts after not only winning WCS Korea, but also the Season 3 Finals. But he was knocked out in the round of 8 by Jaedong. Sulky and Polt, two other favorites to finish near the top, were knocked out in the round of 8 as well. The finals came down to number 12 ranked SOS and number 2 ranked Jaedong. Jaedong was one of those Kespa players that came up about a year and a half ago from Brood War to play Starcraft 2, and at this point, he's been one of the most successful Kespa players to transition over to Starcraft 2. Unfortunately, Jaedong finished second for the 5th time in a major tournament as he fell 4-1 to SOS. Jaedong finished second in WCS America Finals Season 2, as well as Season 2 Finals. He finished second in both DreamHack Valencia and Summer, and now he's finished second in the Global Finals. Of course, finishing second, not too bad. He still got to walk away with $45,000, while SOS went home with $100,000. Now, back in August, moving away from WCS a little bit, but still talking esports, Stefano, said he was stepping away from Starcraft 2 as a professional. But this weekend, during the Home Story Cup, he came back. Stefano has pulled a sort of Brett Favre, and only 99 days after retiring from the scene, and just a few hours before that event began, he announced he was the 32nd and final player in that tournament. Now, the Home Story Cup is a little strange, different kind of esports event. It takes place in a house owned by a guy who goes by Take. Now, the event is very casual, even has a bar downstairs in the house. It's almost more of a party atmosphere than a tournament. But those 32 professional players will play out to see who takes home a $10,000 prize, and they're encouraged to help cast the games. Now, it's unclear at this point if Stefano's coming back to the scene for good or if this was sort of a one-off event because he is attending university full-time. Either way, if you're a Stefano fan this weekend, it will be an event you do not want to miss out on. So let's talk about the new kid on the block a little bit with Heroes of the Storm. So of course, we were at BlizzCon, we got to play, we got to talk about Heroes of the Storm. We have lots of information. Now, I did an interview, and you can watch it, of course, like I said, BlizzCon 2013 playlist. But let's give a quick rundown. First off, there are no items in the game. Now, for those of you who've played a lot of MOBAs, you're used to the items. Well, there's some drawbacks to that. I played some Dota 2, and honestly, it's kind of a pain in the ass that you're like, well, I gotta buy this item, and then this item, and then this item, and then those can combine to create this item. But I gotta keep track of all this while I'm trying to figure out how I'm gonna level up my character, and I'm trying to, actually fight people and earn experience. It's very hectic. It's part of why there's such a steep learning curve to Dota 2. That's why they don't want to have it there. It's that whole sort of Blizzard easy to learn, hard to master thing. Just focus on the combat or whatever it is your character does. Now, it is not designed to be an e-sport. Now, let's be very clear. It could become one. But they very much feel it's like, let's make our game. Let's make our game the way we want it. Let's make it awesome. Let's make it fun. Let's make people enjoy it. And if an e-sport grows out of that, cool. If not, we will keep making this game the way we think it needs to be fun, to be enjoyable, for people to have a good time with it. And I think that's a good place to have that focus. And it strikes me that if your game is fun, if people like it, and people like to watch it, it's going to turn into an e-sport. It's just sort of a natural progression. Now, they're looking at releasing future heroes very similar to the way that League of Legends does it, at least at this point. Maybe it's a slightly tweaked. If you've seen some of the interviews, it's more like they're thinking now, this is all very early, is they would sort of have a cast of heroes available, and they would sort of rotate those out maybe on a monthly basis. And you can buy those characters if you want to keep them before they rotate out. They made it very clear that they're doing their own take, like I said, on a MOBA. They're not trying to be like everybody else. Like, I know one of the huge things in this is you level up as a team. You gain experience as a team. And what this allows them to do is have a lot of characters who aren't just focused on killing all of your opponents. You could have support characters who really, do great things because they support you. So it allows them to change up that combat and change things. It also doesn't leave, I've been sort of, when you first start playing Dota 2, you're the shitty guy. And, everybody, good guys, bad guys, everybody, they're all like 5 levels ahead of you and you just suck. So it will allow the noobs to get sort of pulled along to learn how to use those higher level skills, how to be a better player and go through more of the mid and end game. So I think it's all just a good thing. Not saying Dota 2 is a bad thing. There are people that love that and people that love that challenge. But for some of us, this could be really cool. Looking forward to seeing more of this stuff. All right, let's talk Diablo.
Stay a while and listen.
So the expansion for Diablo 3 called Reaper of Souls was playable on the show floor at BlizzCon 2013. I tell you what, I made a beeline to go and play that myself. So it was on both PC and PlayStation 4. Now on the PC, you were able to choose either the story mode or the adventure mode. Now, adventure mode is pretty cool. I'll get to that in a second. But first, I want to talk about the Crusader and the PlayStation 4. All right? Control, I love that controller. It's really cool. I know it's going to be launched by the time you see this video, and there's all kinds of reviews out there now, so mine doesn't mean that much. But as far as actually playing Reaper of Souls, playing Diablo 3 on PlayStation 4, the graphics were back up to the level that you've seen on PC. It felt really cool. The Crusader, so much fun. He's another strength-based character, but his things are a little more, magically based, rather than, just that straight up sort of just pound him into the dirt that the Barbarian does. He's got this awesome move where he, summons this charger that he can ride around on, And tell you what, there's a big control difference. It's easier to control the charger, for instance, in the with a controller, because you can sort of like loop around your enemies and do figure eights. Whereas if you're doing it on PC, you got to like click, 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 click. I mean, yeah, it's a little more tricky. Most of the time when people were using the charger on PC, it was like a click and they just went. So it was cool. Though my favorite ability, I'm not sure what it was called, is he would vanish like a bolt of lightning going up in the air, and it's an AoE effect. He'd come back down, like bam, electrical. Yeah, it was just brilliant. So much fun. It was a great time, and the game looks cool. Very excited for this one. Now, adventure mode, that's a much bigger deal, honestly, because it allows you to really opening up that end game. So what it's going to do is it's going to allow you to play and skip the storyline and give you some more things to aim for. So you get a map, and all of the waypoints are unlocked. And you see all these different bounties that will be available. By the way, a lot of those bounties will be tied to unique mobs. So if you're one of those achievement hunters, you've been trying to find one guy on random, now you can actually go and find and kill it. Good stuff. So you click on that area of the map, complete the bounty, go kill the mob, and you get a nice little bonus of XP and gold, maybe some extra items, on top of what you normally get for just killing some sort of elite or unique mob. Now, one of the rewards they showed, for instance, was a special little orb in a special area for you to play in. Now, when our own BlizzPro editor Nineball got one, he went to a place that he said basically was like playing the old school cow level from Diablo 2. Right? Yeah, it definitely looks like with Reaper of Souls, they're really digging in and giving us a lot of the things we've been wanting to make Diablo the game we always hoped it could be. Now, also during our interview with John Haidt and Alex Mayberry, we asked if remote play would be available on the Vita. This is a fun story. And they were like, oh, we're looking into it. 2 days after this interview, he tweeted a damn picture of him with a Vita and a PlayStation 4 saying, it works. Bitches.
Pull up a chair by the heart.
So very little was truly announced about Hearthstone, since they're still trying to get the game out of closed beta at this point. But Rob Pardo did announce a few cool things. They're trying to get out into open beta in December 2013. But he did admit, since it's Blizzard, that probably means maybe January. But, they're trying. Other big thing that they did announce was their new ranking system. Now, they're doing away with the current ranking system that you're used to and maybe struggling with a little bit. That goes up to 3-star master. Instead, they're going to have 25 different rankings. Each of those will have 3 stars available. It's a lot bigger. So when you win, you'll go up the ranks. When you lose, you'll go down the ranks. Makes sense. You'll start out as a level 25 angry chicken and can move all the way up to a level 1 dwarf. Now, why a dwarf is the top is a little strange to me. There's a lot bigger, scarier things they could have used, but yeah, we'll go with it for now. Now, once you hit the highest level, you unlock a new mode from which you cannot be downgraded, no matter how much you lose. It's going to show you where you stand in the regional rankings as well as your statistics. There are plans to have this whole thing reset probably once a month, and there will be rewards such as things like maybe new card backs to go along with the rankings. Now, the Hearthstone Innkeeper's Invitational Tournament was a huge success, all right? It was massive. I was there. You would not believe the crowd that it gathered. It was just packed. It was impossible to get a seat. I was standing way, 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 way back behind everybody to try and watch some of this. And it was a little fun being somebody who, actually knows how to play the game. And I played a little bit going, oh, man, this match is already over. He's already, it's done. But, they kept going. But former pro player, Starcraft 2 caster and former pro player Artosis was able to defeat popular live streamer Kriparian in the finals 3-2. Now, this was mainly an exhibition tournament. It was really to just sort of show off the game to people, especially people who haven't gotten a chance to play or stream or whatnot. Like I said, the floor was packed. And check this out, on Twitch TV, it actually had higher viewers than the WCS Global Finals that took place at BlizzCon. It was crazy. Needless to say, these kinds of numbers and attention has really grabbed the development team. Before, they were kind of like, well, maybe it'll be an esport, but after BlizzCon, we could sort of see, talking to these people, seeing them around over the course of the 2 days, seeing how those opinions shifted, how it changed. And, personally, I had an interview with a couple of guys, and they were just amazed and stunned. That was literally the word they used, was stunned by how hugely successful this game has been. And it's still in closed beta. All right? There's like about 1 million people that have actually gotten to play this game. And it's just huge. It's like the 3rd highest watched thing on Twitch. It's crazy. So definitely, they're starting to look more toward, the spectator mode, the things that people are wanting to make this a successful esport. Before, it had been a little on the back burner. Now, it's going to come a little further forward. So, that about does it for this week's BlizzPro Weekly. I hope you've had a great time. BlizzCon was so awesome.
Ow! Dang. This place is dangerous.
Well, that'll teach him, won't it? All right. So, Twizcast. Subscribe, listen, watch, it's awesome. This YouTube channel, subscribe, keep watching, it's still awesome. And of course, we're also launching now BlizzPro.tv, which is bringing on 3, maybe it's 4. That's a lot of new podcasts. Oh my God, so much new content. And of course, we're going to be working on BlizzPro Weekly a little bit, changing it up, having a little more fun with it. We'd love to hear your suggestions on it. Now me, I'm all over the internet, Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, Goodreads author. In fact, by the time you see this video, hopefully my Indiegogo for my book, The Lost and Broken Realm, Things Forgotten Book 1, will be up and running. So if it's up, look for a link in the show notes. Please support it. Get yourself a book. It's going to be, I think it's a good book. I wrote it. I'm kind of partial, but still. And of course, go to BlizzPro.com. All the news, reviews, fantastic community, everything you need to know about Blizzard Entertainment games. Stay beardy, my friends.